The sun had not even broken the horizon when Chike's alarm rang. It wasn't really an alarm, just the loud, teeny ringtone of his techno phone, a song by Burna Boy he'd set months ago. He rolled off the thin mattress, rubbing his eyes. His room in Mushin was barely bigger than a shop store, cracked walls, a single dusty fan, and a bucket in the corner that doubled as his wardrobe. Outside, Lagos was already alive. Kiki horns blared. Women at the junction shouted prices. Tomato no 500 Nigerian nairas. Madam, bring money come first before you day price. A bus conductor yelled, Ojulegba, straight. Enter with your change oh. Chike worked as a bakery boy, delivering bread across the neighborhood. The pay wasn't much, 18,000 Nigerian nairas a month, but it kept the family fed back in the village and allowed him to dream, even if just a little. Dreams of a small car. Dreams of not sleeping with one ear open because of area boys. Dreams of something better. By 8 a.m., Chike was on the back of a rickety Okada, balancing a wooden tray stacked high with ajit bread wrapped in thin nylon. The roads were chaos, yellow buses swerving, hawkers darting through traffic, policemen flagging down bikes for settlement. Halfway through his route, his phone buzzed. It was Mama. Chike, my pikin, her voice cracked through the static. Your sister Ada need money for her WAC registration, 12,000 Nigerian nairas. She no fit miss this exam. He swallowed hard. Mama, I never even collect salary. Make I try talk to Oga, maybe he go allow advance. She sighed, tired. You know say everybody for village they look your side. Not only you wey dey Lagos. Don't disgrace us. The call ended, leaving a heavy weight in his chest. He knew what she meant, don't disgrace us. In the village, your success in Lagos wasn't just yours, it was a badge of honor for your whole family. After his delivery rounds, Chike stopped by the corner shop where his so-called friends gathered. There was Tond, with his sharp tongue and sharp dressing, always wearing fake designer shirts but never missing a chance to mock. And Ifeanyi, the dreamer, always talking about import and export business but never making a single move. They hailed him with laughter. Or, Chike bread boy. When you go level up now. Girls know they look man way they smell flower every day. Chike laughed with them, pretending their words didn't sting. But deep down, he felt the shame clawing at him. Then Ton leaned closer. Guy, forget this your bread waller. One of my guys they run betting up. You fit put small money, like 10,000 Nigerian nairas, and get 50,000 Nigerian nairas sharp. Chike shook his head. Omo, I no get that kind mind. No food money be that. But that night, lying in his hot, stuffy room, the words replayed in his head. 10,000 Nigerian nairas to Nigerian naira 50k, maybe even Nigerian naira 100k. Sunday came, and like every week, Chike found himself in the small Pentecostal church on their street. The walls were unpainted, the plastic chairs mismatched, but the worship was loud and full of fire. During prayer, the pastor, a slim, intense man with a booming voice, stopped mid-sermon and pointed toward him. Young man, the pastor said, you are standing at a crossroads. One road is paved with light, the other with darkness. Be careful the choice you make this week. People murmured. Some nodded knowingly. Chike forced a smile, but inside, his heart pounded. How could this man know about the thoughts swirling in his mind? About the temptation of quick money and the constant pressure to send something home. By the next weekend, the 18,000 Nigerian naira salary was gone. He'd sent 12,000 Nigerian nairas home for Ada's exam and used the rest to clear debts. His room was empty except for a few packs of instant noodles. Then Ton called. Guy, I don't tell you. Small 5,000 Nigerian nairas go turn 20,000 Nigerian nairas. No dull yourself. And just like that, Chike dipped into the little savings he had hidden in an old biscuit tin. He transferred the money and waited for his miracle. At first, it worked. 5,000 Nigerian nairas became 15,000 Nigerian nairas. 15,000 Nigerian nairas became 30,000 Nigerian nairas. He felt powerful. Like maybe, just maybe, his luck was turning. Then, one Friday night, when he tried to withdraw, the app froze. The number he used to call the so-called agent didn't go through. By Monday, everything was gone. 50,000 Nigerian nairas, savings from 2 years of hustling, vanished. In Lagos, bad news travels faster than Danfo buses. By evening, everybody at the bakery knew. Even Mama called, her voice sharp with disappointment. Chike, so you don't carry your family name put for gutter because of quick money. I told you, hustle with clean hand. Now see. At the shop the next morning, Ton and the others laughed behind his back. Bread Boy thought he was Elon Musk, they jeered. Each word felt like a dagger. For weeks, Chike avoided everyone. He worked longer hours, taking extra shifts to pay back the bakery after one of the deliveries went missing, a mistake they pinned on him because, well, he had no one to defend him. Then one afternoon, after another grueling shift, he stopped by the church again. The pastor didn't preach that day. Instead, an older woman gave a testimony. She talked about losing everything, her shop, her husband, but finding peace when she stopped chasing validation and started chasing contentment. Something in Chike cracked. He realized that Lagos had taught him the wrong lesson, that success was about fast money, shiny clothes, and validation from people who didn't even like him. He walked home that evening, the sun setting orange over the rusty rooftops, and for the first time in months, he felt lighter. By the next month, Chike had made a quiet decision. No more chasing quick cash. No more trying to impress people who would never clap for him. He started waking earlier, stacking bread trays more carefully, and even volunteering to help other delivery boys finish their routes. People noticed. Chike, you did change, oh, the bakery supervisor said one morning, handing him a cold sachet of pure water. You know they argue again. Not so it's supposed be. It wasn't much, but it was a start. In the evenings, instead of hanging with Ton and the others, he went straight home. Sometimes, he'd sit outside his room, watching children chase one another through the dusty streets, their laughter cutting through the chaos of the city. For the first time in years, he started saving again. This time, no shortcuts. He kept the money in a small envelope tucked deep inside his mattress. 2,000 Nigerian nairas became 10,000 Nigerian nairas. 10,000 Nigerian nairas became 50,000 Nigerian nairas. Slowly, painfully, Chike was rebuilding. But life has a way of testing you, doesn't it? One hot afternoon, as he balanced a tray of steaming bread on his head, his phone rang again. It was Mama. Her voice was shaky. Chike, your father, he fainted on the farm. They say no high blood pressure. Hospital say 70,000 Nigerian nairas for treatment. His legs went weak. Mama, 70 what? Where I won't see that kind money now. There was silence on the line, broken only by Mama's sobs. Chike, you know say you be the first son. The village people they talk already, say city no favor you. That night, he sat alone in his tiny room, staring at the ceiling. It felt like the walls were closing in. He thought of the money under his mattress, just 50,000 Nigerian nairas, not even enough. For a brief moment, the old voice crept in. Maybe call Ton, maybe just one last bet. But then he remembered the pastor's warning, and how it felt to lose everything the last time. He exhaled deeply. No. Not this time, he whispered. By morning, word had spread. You know Lagos, gist moves faster than the internet. On, you hear say Chike Popo the hospital for village. Mama Esther, the neighborhood gossip, said at the junction. No wa. After all the bread this boy they carry for head every morning. But in the chaos of gossip, kindness bloomed too. Mama Ngozi, who ran the Akara stand, pressed a folded 2,000 Nigerian nairas note into his palm. Take, my pikin. No big, but make it help small. The vulcanizer down the street added another 5,000 Nigerian nairas. Even the landlord, usually grumpy, waved that month's rent. By evening, Chike had almost 80,000 Nigerian nairas. Enough for the hospital bills. Enough to breathe again. 2 days later, Chike boarded a night bus to the village. The journey was long and bumpy, with cramped seats and loud gospel music blaring from the driver's phone. When he arrived, the air was different, thick with the scent of wet earth and firewood. Children ran barefoot through narrow paths. Old women sat on verandas, chewing cola and discussing life as if nothing ever changed. At the small family house, his father lay on a raffia mat, frail but smiling. "Chike, my son," the old man said softly, "you dey try. I hear everything. The city no easy, but you still dey send something. God go bless you." Tears burned his eyes. All the anger, the shame, the hustle, it melted away in that moment. During his short stay in the village, Chike saw things differently. He saw children playing with old tires, their laughter brighter than anything money could buy. He saw his mother wake before dawn to fetch water, her back bent but her spirit unbroken. He saw neighbors sharing what little they had, no questions asked. And he realized, for the first time, that life wasn't just about Lagos or escaping the struggle. It was about community. About knowing who truly stood by you when the noise faded. When he returned to Lagos a week later, the city was the same, loud, restless, unforgiving. But Chike wasn't the same anymore. He worked his shifts quietly, saved more diligently, and ignored the sideways glances from Ton and the others. Chike don't dey form humble, Ton sneered one afternoon at the shop. Chike just smiled. He had nothing to prove anymore. One evening, after another long day, he stopped by the church again. The pastor, seeing him, smiled knowingly. "You survived your storm," the man said, resting a hand on his shoulder. Chike nodded. "By God's grace, and by the people who didn't give up on me." Months passed. One Saturday morning, Chike used part of his savings to buy exercise books, pens, and pencils. He packed them neatly in a carton and traveled back to the village. At the small primary school where he once learned his ABCs, he handed them to the head teacher. "For the children," he said simply. The look on the children's faces, the pure joy, filled a hole in his heart he didn't even know was still there. For once, success didn't feel like a race. It felt like peace. By the end of the year, Chike had managed to save enough to rent a slightly bigger room, one with tiled floors, a window that actually opened, and a small portable fan. Mama called one evening, her voice filled with quiet pride. "Chike, you no only send money, you send hope. We dey pray for you every night." And this time, instead of shame or pressure, her words wrapped around him like a warm cloth. By 2026, the bakery had grown. They bought a second delivery van, hired 2 more boys, and even repainted the shop. And Chike. He was no longer just the bread boy. His boss, a gruff man everyone called Oga Sunday, had started trusting him with bigger responsibilities, managing orders, negotiating prices with suppliers, and sometimes even training new workers. One morning, after a particularly busy week, Oga Sunday pulled him aside. "Chike," he said, scratching his chin. "You be good boy. You sabi work. If you fit manage am well, I dey ready to make you supervisor." The words hit him harder than he expected. All those mornings of sweat and silence, all those nights of hunger and prayers, it was finally paying off. With the small promotion came a slight increase in pay. It wasn't much, but it was honest. And it gave Chike enough breathing space to think beyond survival. He opened a small savings account and started setting aside a fixed amount every month. He even enrolled for evening classes in business management at Yoba Tech. His evenings were now quieter. Instead of gossiping at the junction, he'd sit by the window in his new room, the hum of the city in the background, flipping through textbooks by candlelight. People noticed the change. Children in the compound would wave and shout, "Bread uncle," when they saw him. Neighbors started calling him responsible young man, the same people who once mocked him when gossip swirled. But Lagos never forgets. One humid evening, as Chike walked home from class, he spotted Ton leaning against a kiosk near the junction. His once sharp shirts were now faded, his fake gold chain tarnished. "Chike," Ton called, forcing a grin. "Omo, I dey hello. Long time." Chike paused. The old him would have crossed the street or thrown a sharp insult. But not anymore. They talked briefly. Ton confessed that the so-called betting hustle had collapsed, that he'd been scammed worse than anyone imagined. Guy, no street we dey. Nobody holy pass, Ton said, eyes heavy. But you sabi. You get sense. Abeg, if work dey, reason me. Chike nodded slowly. He didn't gloat. He didn't preach. Come by the bakery next week, he said simply. We dey always need extra hands. And just like that, a full circle moment. Back in the village, life was changing too. His sister, Ada, passed her WAEC with flying colors. She called him one evening, her voice bubbling with excitement. Chike. I got admission for university. He laughed so hard that tears ran down his face. Mama. You hear am? Your daughter don't enter school. For the first time in years, there was genuine laughter in the family compound. They weren't rich, but they were hopeful. Life wasn't perfect. The city was still tough, the road still rough, and the hustle still endless. But for the first time, Chike felt peace. He thought of everything, the shame, the gossip, the losses, the nights he almost gave up, and realized they had shaped him into someone stronger. Looking back, Chike understood something important. Life in Nigeria will test you in ways you can't imagine. It will force you to confront your fears, your pride, even your own desperation. But if you stay grounded, if you remember who you are and where you come from, you will survive. Not because the city becomes kinder, but because you become wiser.